My next tip for taking the HiSET is to always draw out or write out your work, especially for math. So here's an example of a problem where it's going to be pretty essential to have a visual of what you're talking about. It says Miss Lund placed a 7-foot ladder against the wall with the base of the ladder 4 feet away from the wall. Just a hint, every single time you have a ladder against a wall, it's forming a triangle. So you've got a wall, you got the floor, and then you have the ladder against the wall. Triangle. And so then I know that this is 7 feet and that this is 4 feet. And I don't know what this is. Okay, so that's the information that I'm given in the first part of the problem. It continues. She decided that a different 10-foot ladder needed to be used. If Miss Lund wants a longer ladder to rest against the wall at the same angle as the shorter ladder, about how far away from the wall should she place its base? So we've got the wall again, we've got the floor, maybe a little bit higher up on the wall. And notice this does not need to be pretty. It's not for anybody's eyes but my eyes as I try to figure out the problem. And I need the ladder at the same angle, so I'm going to try to make it kind of look like the first problem. And now it's 10 feet, and now I still don't know what this is, and I don't know what this is. And so now when I go to solve the problem, I have all of that information kind of drawn out in front of me. I can picture what's going on, and I've created another tool for myself. And already, just by drawing it out, I have very easily ruled out at least one of the options, because by drawing it out, I can see that there's no way that this length right here, which, by the way, that's the length we're looking for, right? Because we need to know how far away the longer this ladder would be away from the base. There's no way that that is longer than 10 feet, because that just doesn't make sense. So already I can rule out E as an answer. Now, how to actually do this problem is a different question. This is a ratio problem. These are congruent triangles, so I can take the ratio of 7 to 4 and compare it to 10 to the unknown answer, and then I would get the answer of 5.7 feet. But all of that aside, that's what I wanted to show you, is that just drawing it out really gives you a visual aid and can be very helpful. The same with when you're doing other types of problems. Like this is a geometry problem where there's very definitely a picture involved, but even if you're doing, let's say, problem number 5, where it says a restaurant is at 75% capacity with 120 patrons, how many people are in the restaurant when it's at 100% capacity? Even with that, I might just kind of put the information on the page somehow. So 75%, if I were to represent that as a decimal, it would be 0.75, and that goes along with the 120, and then I need 100, and so that would be 1 whole, right? And then that's the information that I don't know. And so now maybe even just by writing those out on the page, I might have some clue as to how to figure that out. So that's it. Just write out information on a separate piece of paper, on a scrap piece of paper. As you manipulate numbers, just kind of keep track of what you're doing and draw out pictures whenever possible, because it just helps you process, think through, interact with the problems, and use all of the tools you have available to you, including a scrap paper and a pencil. And that is true whether you are working the computer-based test or the paper-based test. You will have a piece of scrap paper and a pencil, and you can just write out your work.